Welcome to Lesson 56, where we're going to talk about mixed numbers. So a mixed number is where you have a whole number and some sort of fraction, and an improper fraction is where you just have a fraction where the numerator is bigger than the denominator. So 1 and 1/2 is actually the same thing as 3 over 2, 3 halves. Because if you think of it, if you have 1/2, 2 halves, and then another half, that's the same thing as 1 and a half. It just looks different on paper. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and try to solve a problem like this. Let's say you had 3 and 1/2 k, with k being a variable, is equal to 4 and 1/5. And obviously you're supposed to solve for k. And to do that, you need to get k all by itself, but what do we have next to it? Well, we have this mixed number. Now it turns out it's much easier to work with fractions in algebra when they are in improper fraction format versus the mixed number format. So let's quickly change 3 and 1/2 to an improper fraction. It'll be 7 over 2. Remember, we do 2 times 3 plus 1. So 7 over 2, don't forget the k, equals, and let's also change this to an improper fraction, 21 over 5. Okay, so now see, we can easily get rid of the 7 over 2 on the left-hand side by dividing the left side by 7 over 2. And we also can divide the right side, I'm going to write it in this format, by 7 over 2. So 7 halves divided by 7 halves cancels out, and we get k equals 21 over 5 divided by 7 over 2. Now remember, that's not how we do division for fractions. What we do is we change it to a multiplication sign, and then we write the reciprocal. So instead of 7 over 2, we'll have 2 over 7. Let's simplify before we multiply. 21 can be simplified to a 3 and a 1 down there. So what we would end up with is k equals 6 in the numerator, 5 in the denominator. And I would say that this would be your final answer. If you feel like you want to change it to a mixed number again, you can, but I think actually most of the time in the book they'll want you to keep it as an improper fraction. So what did we learn today? Improper fractions are the same as mixed numbers, except improper fractions are easier to work with in algebra, and I showed you how to do that in an algebraic equation. Remember, the goal is always to get the variable by itself. In this case, it was k by itself. And don't forget to simplify, so it's just easier to multiply. And lastly, go ahead and leave your answer as an improper fraction. All right, let me know if you have any questions.